Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is the Wonder Kid. A warm welcome to this video, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be backtesting Aussie Japanese yen January 2020, just that month itself. Now, Aussie yen is a pair that I haven't backtested in a little while. I do have my plan for it and I am trading it live, but I think it'll be great to revisit it. And this is what this video is about. It's about you guys just sitting back, relaxing, watching me backtest. I'll show you guys the thought process that I go through when I put my orders on, when I take my orders off, what I like to see in the market. And guys, if you guys are interested in the strategy I trade, take a look in the description down below where it says strategy. I've posted a link there. It will take you to my community, and that is the strategy that I trade. So feel free to have a look at it, guys. But for now, sit back, relax, watch me backtest Aussie Japanese yen 2020. This is a pair I really do enjoy, and I will show you what I am looking at. So guys, as you can see here, I've brought up the chart of Aussie Japanese yen, and you can see we've just coming into January here. I've put the bar replay tool on, and I've obviously separated the whole month in nice horizontal, or vertical actually, golden bars. So as you can see, one of the things that I do like with this pair, just before we start backtesting, is that it does like to move in this very corrective manner. It does trend quite correctively, not as much as Aussie dollar, but it does have these phases of really nice upward trend, while trending correctively. And then of course you can see we've got this nice push up, we've got this nice trend up, and then we've got this descending channel that we've begun back down, and we can see we're starting to see this volatility. Now when I see this kind of inverse V or V like this, what typically happens is that you have a pull up and then you have a push back down, you get a bit of a range, and then you push in the direction of the second leg of the volatility. Now, why does that happen? Now, typically, to me, it is to do with retail stops. So for example, you will have a bunch of stops here. So say, for example, if I bar replay this and show you what retail traders like to do, typical retail traders, if I say, let's go back to this point here, retail traders will typically think, okay, wow, okay, we are clearly going down, okay? We've got this strong candle down, we're pushing down again here. So again, what I'll do is, as a retail trader, I'll enter in this position here, and I'll put my stops above the last higher low, but essentially you got I think it's lower high as you call it. So you've got a high here, you got a high here, so clearly these highs are becoming lower, so you got lower highs, so my stop would be above here. And as you can see, what do the money managers like to do? They like to push up, take all those stops out, and then of course come back down. Okay, so you can clearly see that that is what happened here. And the reason why they do this is just to collect liquidity, of course. Like, of course, there's stops here. They like to take out all that liquidity before they begin their downward descent. Okay, so that's what I'm anticipating here. Possibly a bit more of a range here before we go down. But again, let's start January 2020 and see what happens. So, right, for now, I'm not looking at any trades. The reason being is because we have clearly broken into this region here, taken these stops. But now, of course, when we are starting to buy here, then of course retail traders will be putting their stops down here, and of course you can see that we've taken it out and starting to retrace with this candle here. You can see this is quite a large candle pullback, so this can very easily go to the upside. But again, for me, the momentum is to the downside. We are seeing this little range here, so we could still just continue a trend down, but again, we'll see what happens next. Right, so this is a really nice candle. Okay, we've got a very big wick here, and we have filled that wick with this candle here. Okay, so I would be looking at an order up around this level here. But again, I will tell you when I put my order on, not just yet. Okay, now my order would be on at this level here. So I'll see if we get tagged in. I will put the risk to reward tool if we do get tagged in up here. My order would still be on. It would still be on even after this candle here, this candle here. Yes, it would still be on. Right, now my order would still be on up here. There is a setup here that I would be interested in taking at this. It would be a market execution at around this level, but I'm just going to see how my stop loss looks, because sometimes we can have it quite volatile. Right, so for me, I would be taking a trade here. Now, like I said before, there would be a trade up here. I would have had, after this candle here, I would have had a trade order on here. So let's see what happens here. So I would keep this on, and the reason being, guys, is because we clearly have broken through this level, and for me, we are starting to see a trend. Remember, guys, I'm a trend trader. I like to see this trend, and we are trending correctively. So for me, I want to join in this trend, and of course, the last kind of level was up here, right? It was this region here, okay? This kind of support slash resistance level. So for me, my order would be on here. But for me, I have seen a nice little flag here, okay? And this would be the entry point for this flag. So for me, it will be a market execution order just at just after spread hours. And the reason being, guys, is because we've seen the momentum down and I'm not seeing too much momentum pull back up. You can clearly see that, yes, we have like a line here, we have like a little flag here, and we've pushed up. But to me, the fact that we've retraced with this candle is decent enough for me in this pair to actually put an order on here. So I would have kept this order on, enter that market execution here. So let's see what happens. Right, we were really close to getting taken out there, but we're still in this trade. And we have started to push down. Great, so we essentially broke this low. So for me, I would have cancelled this order, and we are now in this trade. So let's continue and see what happens. Great, so this is starting to fall pretty nicely. Okay, wow, okay, so we have broken a low here. So for me, I would be locking in some profit of around 2.76%. And yeah, let's continue to see what happens. Would I be looking for a scale in? I'm looking for a bit more. I mean, the distance between, remember guys, as I'm a trend trader, again, we've got this nice push, pull back, push down. Oh, sorry, terrible drawing. Push down, pull up, push down. I will be looking to get back up here for a trade. So again, I have got a little bit of a wick. So again, to me, personally, my order would be on at this level here. So let's see what happens. Right, now would I have been tagged in? I'm just going to double check the highs and lows of this. So low 222, high 28. So again, for me, I would have not been tagged in this, but my order would still be on. And we have continued to move down. Okay, that's completely fine. I would have just missed the tag here, which is absolutely fine. But again, not a problem with that. It would have just missed by like literally a couple of pips, but that is not a problem at all. And on top of that, we get to lock in some profit. The reason being is because, again, you can see this candle has a low here. We had a counter trend move and broken the low of this candle with this candle here. So for me, again, we are starting to see this really nice move down. So I would have locked in around now 6.14% of profit. Absolutely fine, not a problem with that at all, okay? Now, one of the things that I will be looking at is, again, I'm not looking to scale in. The reason being is because we've just broken the low and formed a wick. So looking for more price action, and there you have it. So the reason being, again, like I said, is that we've just broken this low of the candle here, formed a wick, not showing that much momentum, and immediately retrace. So again, with this trade, I would have been taken out for 6.14%, which is absolutely fine. Very happy, especially at the beginning of January with that trade. So no problem at all with that, and I'll put that and log that down. Right guys, let's continue. Again, that would have been a pretty nice scale in if we were able to scale in here. We would have, scaling up here, but again, did not get a tag, but again, that's absolutely fine. But for now I'll be looking to see what happens next, because I can see that we're seeing weakness here, and we've got a very strong candle to the upside with a little bit of a wick. So for me, I'm just looking to see if we got a little bit more. Right, okay, so for me, I am not looking to put an order on because we've got this wick here. If I saw a little bit more of a push, if this candle closed solid, I would be putting on an order around this level here. But again, because that closed with a wick up here, I'm not looking for an order. So again, order off. Again, still no order. I'm not seeing too much momentum. You can see we've got 3 candles, but look at the highs. We have pushed up, but you can see that the highs are just being broken, and now we've got a double wick. So for me, I'm waiting for more price action, expecting a range and a more of a push down. Right, now, one of the things is that I've noticed here is that if I bar replay this to, I've actually just made a small mistake. If I bar replay it to here, and one of the things is that now, the reason I would actually have an order back on after this candle here. Now, the reason being is because you can clearly see that we have had this kind of descending move, right? We can see that we've got a descending here, and we're starting to see the weakness at the bottom, and we're starting to push up. Now, we are seeing wicks, that is absolutely correct. But for me, I know on this pair is that we like to see, if we see a push up, even though we're seeing wicks, doesn't mean that we're just going to push down. I can see that here, these 2 candles are starting to stagnate. So for me, I would actually have a long order on around here at this level. after I'm seeing this candle. And essentially this is like a reversal, but also a nice little flag continuation to get back on down this level here. Now, I really like this setup. This kind of setup is very popular with the Aussie Japanese yen. So for me, this is very high probability. So despite the wicks, I'm seeing stagnation here. My order would be back on at this level. In fact, just probably about 2 pips above. So I'll approximate it to about here, and I'll put it there with my stop loss 120. Let's see what happens. So again, yes, so we would have been tagged in. Now let's see what happens next with this. Okay, so we are ranging around, we've pushed back down a bit, and we have had a jump again. So guys, this is something I would like to mention. So again, I do seem to miss this in my backtesting videos, but essentially we had a weekend break here. Now this is Friday afternoon. Okay, you can see that this is 6 o'clock on a Friday. So for me, I actually would not have entered this trade, and the reason being is because I do not want to expose my account to spreads. So again, this is something that you'd have to double check when you backtest, is that when you're approaching Friday, do you really want to be taking these kind of trades on a Friday afternoon? For me, I only take really high probability trades on a Friday afternoon. But again, because I just realized that to me, this is a very late afternoon. This is actually 6 p.m. on a Friday. I would not be looking at any trades at that time. So for me, I would not be looking for that. And as you can see, we did have quite a gap, and that would have been taken out for greater than -1%. So for me, again, this is something to look out for. I'm not looking to get in any trades on a Friday afternoon. But again, we've had this gap, so let's continue and see what happens. So we filled this gap up. We're starting to see a range, typical what we see on a Monday morning. Again, we're still seeing this range. I'm not seeing any price action to come in and out of this range yet. So for me, I'm still anticipating more of a range. We're kind of broken up with this and retraced. Again, I'm not seeing too much momentum to the upside after these 2 candles. Still ranging. Again, we've essentially, what have we done? We've pushed up here, broken a low, retraced again. So for me, I'm still anticipating more of a range, okay? So nothing just yet, and you can clearly see that, guys, we are in this range. Right, now for me, we've broken this low, retrace, and broken the low. So now what am I seeing here, guys? So guys, you can see that we were range bound here, right? But you can clearly see that now we have pushed down with quite a bit of momentum, retraced. But did I see any shift in momentum? You can see that this candle here produced a wick to the upside, and we continued the momentum back down. Now for me, I would absolutely be having an order run around this level here at this point in time. So let's see what the next candle would have said. Okay, we would not have got tagged in. We've produced a little wick. I still would have had the order on. Order would still have been on. Again, now we've just broken this low here, so nothing just yet. And again, we have just broken this candle low. So again, I'm still seeing a continuation of the trend, but I'm seeing a bit of weakness here, but let's see what happens. Again, a long wick here. So again, still nothing. I'm not seeing any possible trades to be involved in. Pushed up, pulled back down. Right, it's anticipating a bit more of a range now because of these 2 candles. Got the range. Okay, and now we've had a really strong candle down with a wick. So again, I'm not looking for any price action. There's nothing here that has told me, hey, come in, get a tag in, and we'll join. But again, look, we've pushed down with quite a bit of volatility, produced a large wick. Now, when I see a large wick, we're either going to range or we're going to reverse, okay? And we might start to reverse like that, or just start to push up very rapidly. So again, let's see what happens next. Right, we have continued with that push. Again, formed a long wick to the downside. So for me, not seeing any momentum, and we'll guess we're going to start to push up now. And yes, we have. So starting to see this V. So again, this is very volatile price action. Like I say, what I'm going to be anticipating is if I see this V, we like to see, or typically see, a range and then a push up in the direction of this second leg. So again, I'll be sitting on my hands waiting what happens. I don't want to be involved in any volatile price action, so let's continue. Right, broken a high here, retraced, broken high here, pushed up again, not seeing too much momentum, retraced, broken a low, retraced. We've got a thick candle here. Okay, we've got a very big candle here with a wick to the upside. So again, I'm not seeing too much. I'm anticipating this to actually just retrace, but it doesn't have to. What's the next candle? Pretty solid. Okay, so we have continued with this momentum. So can we start to see if we can get involved with a trend continuation? We are starting to push up, slowing down with a bit of momentum. Right, we've got a pretty aggressive retrace candle here, so I'm intrigued to see what happens next. Right, okay, so this does look like a setup for me. Again, another kind of flag continuation. So the low of this candle is 841, low of this candle is 841. So again, no entry just yet. Again, okay, great. And so now we've broken the high. So you can see that we've broken the high with wicks. So that's showing me weakness, more likely to retrace. Again, it doesn't have to, but again, look, guys, we've retraced here with this candle here. So again, I'm seeing weakness here. You can see broke this high, formed a wick, and retraced. So we're seeing this kind of ascending. When you see this kind of ascending, what is happening is that you've got stops above here and they've been taken out. Stops above here have been taken out. So we're waiting for more commitment down or more commitment up. We can have that, but again, it's more likely to have commitment down, and we look to get in on a possible reversal. So again, let's see sitting on my hands, waiting to see what happens next. All right, broken the high again, retraced. Again, not seeing any nice commitment, starting to range about. Starting to break the low, not with great momentum. All right, formed a long wick here. Again, look, if you look at this price action, is there anything to here telling me that we want to go up or down? You can clearly see that we're just moving these waves sideways. We've got a long wick to the upside, showing some weakness. So even from these latest candles, we are more likely to push down. But again, sitting on my hands, waiting to see what happens to get involved in a possible entry. Remember, as a trend trader, I either want to analyze where a trend may continue or where the start of a trend may be. Okay, so let's continue and see what happens. Right, we have pushed up with quite a nice momentum. Right, so I am intrigued to see what happens next. Okay, so we've got this wick. Now, I am intrigued to see, right, now for me, would I put an order on here? I'm not really seeing too much commitment. Now, we can see that we're starting to move in this wave-like manner, okay? And for me, we are kind of doing this thing. We're not really in a clear trend. We can see we've broken this high, formed the wick, retrace. So am I seeing a lot of momentum to the upside? Well, not really. You can clearly see that we are moving correctively in this. When I say trending correctively, I like to see a bit more steepness to it. But essentially for me, when we're seeing this kind of price action, I wouldn't be looking to get involved in anything down here. So again, let's see what happens. Yeah, again, we've broken the high and retraced. So again, I wouldn't have some people would have been looking for some orders down at this level here to see if we can get, again, in another little flag like that to go up. But again, not for me, because I'm not seeing too much commitment here. So nothing for me just yet. Sitting on my hands waiting for a better opportunity. Right, and now we've pushed up. Now, what am I seeing here, guys? You can clearly see that we have pushed up with this really strong candle and retraced. Now, again, for me, I'm not looking to get involved. We're seeing this corrective price action, still breaking the highs, retracing. Are we in a trend here? No. So for me, I'm not looking to get involved in a trend continuation. Although this may shoot up and that's absolutely fine, but for me, not looking to get involved, nothing powerful. And as you can see, we did break the high. You could have actually secured a little bit of profit here on the trade here, but again, for me, so if the trade I'm explaining is here, you could have had, this would be at my stop loss, and you would have secured around 0.71% here. But for me, again, this doesn't fit my plan. Why does it not fit my plan? Because we're moving very, very correctively. We're seeing this real weakness to the upside. So I'm not seeing any strong commitment up or down. So again, sitting on my hands, being patient, waiting for a better opportunity. And you can see, guys, we're currently in 13th of Jan. The last trade I took was back here, which was the 2nd of January. So like I said, we'd be waiting over a week, being nice and patient, waiting for a better opportunity to appear. Right, again, so what are we doing here? We've broke a low, retrace, broke the high, formed the wick, more likely to retrace down. We have retraced down. I'm not seeing any commitment here, guys. Again, we've got a wick to the upside, wick to the downside. What does that tell me? We're more likely to range for a bit. Doesn't have to, but we're more likely to do that for a little bit. Let's see what happens. Again, just like I anticipated, for the next 5-6 hours, we were in that range. We broke the high, nothing. There's nothing here that is telling me, hey, go up, go down. And the reason being is because as you move in this manner, it is more likely we can see exhaustion. We're seeing that buyers are trying to pull up, sellers are bringing it back down. Buyers are still trying to pull up, sellers are bringing it back down. And you can see we're not pulling up by much. If we have buyers like this, sellers bringing it back down, and buyers pulling in like this, we can clearly see we're on an uptrend. So I would be looking to get involved. But again, nothing in this price action that's saying, hey, Kish, get involved. So again, we're going to continue. Right, again, we broke the high with a nice candle, with a nice Mariposa, but had a wick, and broke the low with a wick. So again, anticipating more of this range again after, still not seeing any direction of where we want to go. So let's continue and see what happens. Again, you see, as I just said, guys, you can clearly see from these two candles, I anticipated this range to happen. Why? Because you can clearly see this in itself is volatile. On a lower time frame, this candle would have been having candles up like this. In this time frame, you have candles coming down like this. But again, what is that telling me? We're not going to go anywhere. And especially the reason being is because of the wicks. You can see we've got a wick to the downside, wick to the upside, so we're anticipating more of the range, and we clearly got that, guys. So again, because of this, like I say, if we see a V up and a V down, we do anticipate a bit of a range and a push in the direction of the second leg. So I'm anticipating or getting ready for a move down, but again, doesn't have to do that. But yeah, let's continue and see what happens. Right, we did have a push down, but again, retrace, not showing too much strength to the downside. But again, we have started to move down, okay? Again, moving down correctively, you can see that we're starting to move in this wave-like manner down. So nothing for me just yet to get involved in. Right, okay, so now I am seeing, guys, so one of the things that I do like to see with this pair is that, look, we can see we've got this descending nature here, right? And now you can clearly see that we have pushed up with quite a bit of momentum. So for me, I would be looking to get involved at this location around here. But the thing is that we've got a couple of wicks here. So for me, I want to see what the next candle says. If the next candle pulls back down again, I'm breaking this candle's low, I'm not interested. If we retrace, I am more than interested to put an order in at that level. So again, let's see what happens. You can clearly see, guys, for the guys that like support and resistance, we've broken a level around here with a lot of strength. So for me, I'll be looking to get involved at that level, depending on the next candle. Right, so for me, my order would be on, right? So let's see if my order would be on around here. So let's see if we do get a tag. Let's see around there. Putting it approximate, I think we'll see what happens. Right, we are tagged into this position. And again, we've got a really nice rejection. I'm really happy to see that. But again, let's see what happens. Not locked in anything. Great. So now we have broken the high. So again, for me, I am more... What I'd have done here is that I would have locked in profit at the last low, because this is you got a high here, you got a high here, the last low is over here at this candle. So I would essentially be having around 0.15% of profit locked in, absolutely fine. Let's continue to see what happens. Will we break the high? Yes, again, we have broken the high here. Not by much, so I'm not looking scaling, but again, back to the last low is down here. So I'd be locking in around 0.58% of profit, and we can see that we are moving correctively up. But again, letting the market decide what is going to happen next. So we are starting to move up. So let's see, let's continue. Right, we've got some wicks here, got a strong candle down. Anticipating this could just come and take me out, but again, I'm completely happy with that. I got in at the very beginning of this trade in a clear reversal. You can see that we were moving down, we were exhausted, and then we've had a strong push up, got in on the retrace, and are pushing up like this. So again, happy with this, but let's see what happens. Very close to taking me out here, and pretty much taking me out probably on this candle here, but I'm just gonna double check that. So the low of this candle is around 886, so I'd be taken out if it was 866 or below, and this is 865. So again, I would be taken out on this candle. So again, would have secured in 0.58% on this trade here on a reversal. So completely happy with that. Right, guys, let's continue. So what am I seeing here? I'm seeing a V here. So what am I anticipating? We're seeing a V here, push up here, push back down, bit of a range, and possibly come down here. Now the reason being is because, again, like I say, thinking about retail traders and what do retail traders typically do? They would typically be saying, if I bar replay this, if I just get rid of this, actually, I will just move this just to the side here. If I bar replay this to around here, what are we saying here? We can clearly see that we've pushed up, had double wicks, and retraced. Now, Now, what do retail traders typically think when they see this kind of price action? They say, oh, we've got a double wick. Oh, we've hit this level many times, this support and resistance zone, so we are more likely to go down. And once they see this candle, they're like, okay, great, I'm getting in here because we are seeing double wicks. We're seeing a strong level of resistance at the top. So again, let me have my short order here. So I'll put it here, market order execution, have my stops above the last high, which is here. So let's see what happens. So what do the money managers do? They bring the price up, take out the stops, and again, they do the same thing. So once the stops are taken out, what do you think retail traders would do again? Retail traders will look at this, say, oh my God, okay, we've got another wick here, we've retraced, and we're starting to see momentum down here. What do I want to do again? I want to take a short position because we've got a lot of wicks to the upside here. Put my stops again above the last high, enter here at market execution. Let's see what happens to this trade. What do the money managers do? They come up, take more stops out. So you can clearly see this is what's happening. We're seeing weakness to the upside as a stop line. We're seeing that we have stops up here and we have stops up here in this location here. They've been taken out and we're waiting for a nice move down. And that's what happened, and that was clear when I see a V like this, and that is exactly what happened next. So I'm just going to move this back to the position, which would be around here. And you can see we had that V down. So again, like I said before, anticipating a bit more of a range and a push in the direction of the second leg. So let's see what happens. We're getting the range. We broke the low with a wick. So again, still not seeing any commitment. Pushing up, pushing down again. And look, as I predicted, you can clearly see, guys, had the V, had the range, and the push down in the second leg. Okay, so this is exactly what I mean. And the reason why I know this is because I do something called naked charting, which is essentially, guys, if you've watched my videos, I look back on the charts and I essentially just like to draw and see common price movements. And for me, I do see this happen quite a lot. Okay, so guys, check that out if you're going to be backtesting Aussie yen. But again, for me right now, there is no positions that I'm interested in because we are quite volatile. Again, we've broken this low, formed some wicks here and retraced. So again, nothing for me personally. Let's see what happens. Broken a low weekly, and then of course, okay, we've had a weekend here break. Okay, so again, I wouldn't be looking for any trades here again because it's Friday. Make sure you guys are looking out for that and using your backtesting results to think, okay, if you're a trend trader, are trends really likely to happen or work out well on a Friday afternoon? And even if you do enter, are you going to hold it on the weekend? So guys, think about that. So for me, I'm seeing a push down here. What is the next candle? Okay, we've pushed up here. So again, Monday morning open, I want to see just a bit more price action. You can see we're seeing this correction happen, guys. You can clearly see we pushed up, seeing this ascending here. So again, sitting on my hands, waiting to see what happens. And a really nice push down here, a break. So for me, would I be looking at any entries? Okay, I've got a wick here. So again, I'm just going to be sitting on my hands and waiting to see what happens next. Continuing to push down, which is really nice to see. Again, pushed down and now starting to see this correction. So again, for me, nothing. We pushed up, had a correction, pushed down, had a correction. Am I seeing any evidence of where we want to go? Either up here or down here? No, not really. We're not seeing any commitment or any exhaustion. So for me, sitting on my hands and waiting. And yeah, let's see what happens. So again, got a nice wick here to the upside. Got a nice push up here. So I'm going to check what are these bars telling me. We got 7.5, 7.7. Now for me, I would be looking to place an order now, and the reason being is because I can see that we've had this exhaustion. We've broken this low retrace, broken this low retrace. We're seeing an exhaustion here, a long wick to the downside, and we're seeing a nice committed move up. And for me, this is enough on this pair to actually place an order. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'll be placing an order right around this level here. So it'll be around here, using a 12 pip stop loss, and let's see if we get tagged in. No, we weren't tagged in, and we've just broken the high. So again, look guys, that's completely fine. We can see we have started to move up, but we didn't get the tag. Again, absolutely fine with that, not a problem. So let's continue to see what happens. Wow, okay, so a very strong candle down, and we've got a little wick here. So you can see, guys, we are moving this descending channel overall, but again, I'm not seeing too much evidence of where we're going to go. Got a wick, this could easily just retrace and have a candle that moves up. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have broken this low, but again, this is a doji. It's not telling me where we want to go. We've got some long wicks to the downside. We could easily just start to range. So for me, again, with what has happened here, we're either likely just to range around here or start to push up and reverse like this, or start to see that V for volatility and push right back up like that. So again, seeing what is going to happen next. Right, we are starting to see the range, and again, we've broken the low very weakly, and we've formed a couple of double wicks and retraced. For me, nothing, seeing corrective price action. Right, so now we've pushed up out of this. Again, what have we done here? We've broken the high, retraced, so again, nothing yet. Anticipating more of a range. So why am I anticipating a range? We've got a wick here, broke this low, had some wicks, retraced, broke this high, had a wick, and retrace. So for me, I am anticipating more of this price action. Okay, so guys, let's see what happens. Again, it doesn't have to do that. It just means that I'm going to be sitting on my hands, not looking for entries. See, we've got, again, another confluence, double wicks to the upside, double wicks to the downside. Price doesn't know where it wants to go, so we're anticipating more of that move. So let's see what happens next. Right, again, so you can see now we've pushed down, retraced, pushed down, and we are starting to see, again, continuing in this channel, okay? We've pushed down with quite a bit of momentum, just sitting on my hands waiting to see what happens. Now for me, I would be having an order on around this level here. So I would have an order on around this level here. Now, why would I have an order on around this level here? Now, the reason being is because, guys, you can clearly see we've got this V for volatility. We've pushed down. Typically, we are anticipating, like I say, we've got pushed down, a bit of a range, a tag in here, and a continue in the direction of the second leg. You can clearly see that we've had the wicks to the upside. We've collected some stops up here. So there is a high probability that we're going down. But again, once we've had this push and that we've broken this low, I'm not seeing any strong shift in momentum here. We've got 3 candles here. Typically, I want to see a nice push back up, and that means I would not be getting involved, but I'm not seeing that. So for me, I'm looking at essentially, again, another flag. We're seeing this kind of flag, a tap in here and go. So again, my order would be on at this point, so let's continue to see what happens. Right, we've pushed down and we've broken the low. So again, my order would have been off. I wouldn't be tagged in, but again, that's completely fine. It's your happy days to do that. It's not a problem. It's very, very good and acceptable to have pending orders that aren't tagged. And if you are tagged into them, let it play out and see what happens. But again, it is very, very good because you allow price to retrace and for yourself to get into a better position than other retail traders would. So guys, let's continue and see what happens. Right, again, we've broken the low, retraced. So anticipating this range, like you can see, we've broken this low, formed a wick, a retraced, broken a high, formed a wick, a retrace down. So again, anticipating this range, and you can see that is what we started to have here. So again, sitting on my hands, being patient, waiting for more price action to tell me. I am very wary that we are in this descending, so we are more likely to go up. But again, waiting on my hands and waiting for the evidence for that to happen. Right, it's again still sitting within this range, not seeing too much of anything. We've got a very big candle here, very volatile candle here at midnight. Probably some news orientated thing happening there. Continuing. Again, remember, don't forget wick on the top, wick on the bottom, anticipating more of a range here. So still nothing sitting on my hands. You can see that we anticipated this whole range to happen based on what happened with price action here, okay? So again, waiting and sitting on my hands, being patient. I don't want to risk my 1% in anything just yet here. Right, we started to impulse down, formed large wick here, started to pull back quite aggressively. So for me, when I see this kind of pullback, you see you've got the push down, we've got a wick here, and we start to pull back with these candles here. So for me, when we see that, we start to do this, and we will start to push up in the direction of this pull up like this, okay? So for me, I do start to see this. Again, let's sit on my hands and see what happens. But again, we could just range around here, but it's more likely that we will push up to the upside according to this price action here. So let's see what happens. Right, again, we started that push up, but we could not be sustained with it. So you can clearly see, guys, that for me, myself, we were pushing up. We were starting to behave correctively in this manner here, but again, I would not be looking for a trade, okay? Now, would there be a trade here? No, not for me personally. And the reason being is because, for me, like I said before, we are starting to push up. This could have easily just done this and pushed right back up. Not high probability, especially after the number of hours of candles here. Could have pretty much done anything. But again, we've pushed back down. So again, looking at the evidence, what are we seeing here? We can see we're seeing weakness, broken a low here, retrace, broken a low here, retrace, broken a low here, retrace. I'm seeing this kind of weakness, especially in this region here. So if we see a nice push up, I will be happy to get in on a reversal. But again, sitting on my hands, waiting for the evidence to tell me where we want to go. Right, again, so this was a Friday evening. Again, we got this massive kind of slippage here. So again, I wouldn't even be looking for any orders because of the Friday evening. So again, let's continue. We're back into Monday. Right, start to range. Again, range pushing down. Still not seeing any idea where we want to go. Again, we're starting to move in this corrective manner, guys. And guys, just to let you know, guys, I'm able to do this a bit more quickly. You can see that I am typically bar replaying very quickly. That's because I'm able to anticipate and see what could possibly happen. And if I do see a setup, can very easily see that by eye now. So again, I'm still anticipating more of this corrective price action. Still nothing yet. When we see this, I'm looking for a push up to see if we can go up, because again, we have stops here taken out, stops here being taken out. So again, sitting on my hands, waiting, seeing if they've got any nice, clear evidence of good price action. Again, nothing clear yet, nothing clear whatsoever. We are starting to see this range. You can see we've got this descending here, and now we're starting to basically sit pretty much in these horizontal lines here. So again, anticipating more of a range. Nothing whatsoever yet. Let's continue to see what happens. Again, starting to push up a bit. Again, pushing up correctively. Nothing whatsoever yet. Still not seeing anything personally. Starting to push down, retracing. Breaking a high, retracing. So again, what am I seeing here? We've got a low here, retraced. High here, retrace, anticipating more of a range as we come into February. But again, let's see what happens. Keep on our toes. You can see we've got this range here. So again, I want to see some clear evidence of nice clean price action to enter. Right, still nothing. Okay, we've got a wick on the end of this, so nothing whatsoever. Still moving very correctively, guys. You can see that we've got a correction down here. Like I said before, correction up here, correction down here, correction up here. And what does that say? If we're going in a descending correction to an ascending, into a descending, into an ascending, that is basically going sideways. So again, I'm not looking to enter any of this. So again, sitting on my hands, waiting and seeing what happens. You can see we're starting to see some commitment down. So again, what will happen next? Right, retraced, came down, broke it just by a little bit, but not by much in retraces. Again, still seeing weakness. And now we are starting to see a nice bit of commitment to the upside. Right, I've got a wick. Now for me, I'm waiting and seeing what happens next. Right, we're starting to see an aggressive pullback. So for me, I'm not looking to enter any positions yet. And again, we've just broken the highs. Again, still nothing yet for me. Now we've broken the low again. Again, nothing. We're seeing this range again as we come into February, pushing down, retracing, pushing down, retracing, still moving correctively, back up, and again retracing. So again, you could see that at the end of the month we were moving very, very correctively. There was no evidence that we were going to start a trend. Even here, we saw we had a wick, and then we retraced pretty aggressively, pulled up, had another wick, saying no momentum to the upside. So again, we're moving in this corrective manner, and you see when we move back down in a corrective manner. So again, that is all that we had in this month. So you can see, guys, as I showed you before, I showed you my thought process. We had 2 trades only this month. One that was here, a continuation, which was 6.14%, and the other was a reversal, which was 0.58%, which ultimately resulted in, quickly get my handy calculator out for that, 6.14 plus 0.58, 6.72%. So there you have it, guys. As you saw, that is how I backtested Aussie Japanese yen 2020. A decent month by, like, it was actually a pretty good month. 6.72%. I'm completely happy with that. But again, like I always say, you could clearly see that I only took 2 trades in the whole month with this pair. And you know, when we backtest it is very easy for us to click through. As you can see, I am clicking through quite quickly. I'm able to see these kind of corrective patterns and where good entry points are. But remember, guys, that you know, when you are live trading, you do want to be very, very patient. Like I said, the first trade was on the 2nd, the second trade was on around the 13th of January, and then we didn't get a trade like all the way up to at least February. So So guys, remember, when you move from backtesting to trading live, do become a lot more patient depending on the time frame you do trade at. But I hope you guys got a little bit of an insight into how I trade there and my kind of thought processes when I put orders on, when I put in orders off, and what I see in price action, and when I'm likely to sit on my hands and wait because price action is not clear on telling me where it wants to go. You saw that there was no indicators because to me you can get all the information in the candlesticks themselves. There's nothing more truer than the Japanese candlesticks that show you the pure price rather than having derivatives of price, which are the indicators themselves. So for me, I have been learning like this for the whole year, and it's boded me pretty well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you have any comments about this video, put it down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to reply to you. But for now, guys, if you had any suggestions on any videos you'd like to see me do, then let me know. But for now, guys, have a fantastic trading week. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed it. Hit the like button so I know that you do enjoy these kind of videos. But for now, have a great trading week. Take care and peace.